Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters Net podcast. I'm your host Brian, and joining me today, QT Louie. How you doing, brother?
QT Louie! Wow! I am a ex-TikTok star, a horrible producer, a horrible musician, but hey, I make it work.
That's all it comes down to, really. Just trying to keep it simple too. How you doing, brother?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm awkward as fuck.
I was gonna say, how's the weather down there? I guess so. Where are you hailing from, actually?
I am in Florida. It's fun fact. Do you know the Island Boys?
Was that one of the movies, or was that one of the groups that kind of inspired you?
They did like this. They did this like TikTok thing where they were like, "I'm the Island Boy and I'm here to." They went like blew up because they had like this crazy hairdo, and then they ended up making an OnlyFans. They were brothers, and they ended up making an OnlyFans where they kissed each other. It was horrible stuff.
Oh God!
But to promote their music, that was what they did. And I was actually born in the same hospital they were born.
Oh,
In
really?
West Palm Beach, which is wild.
Oh, West Palm Beach.
West Palm. It's bad. It's bad there. Florida's bad. A lot of gang activity, really everywhere.
Oh, geez.
It can get bad.
That's coming from DeSantis, who seems to promote that Florida's the safe haven, to be honest, of everywhere else. Not really.
Yeah.
Okay. But on a serious note, I guess, how you been, actually? I guess, did you get hit by any of the hurricanes passing through?
I'm in South Florida right now, so I haven't been hit by any hurricanes, but it rains like every day. Yeah, I live like 45 minutes to the nearest gas station, like drive. Like I'm like out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't have a car. My mom doesn't have a car, so I'm a little stranded. So I don't got to worry about any of the hustle bustle that's going on in the world.
All right.
All I do is sit around, make music, and smoke cigarettes. That's all I can do.
Yeah, actually, I know a couple people I've interviewed doing a little chain smoking and that sort of thing too. So you're not the only one. So.
And I'm not the only one. For the viewers that don't know, I asked before the podcast, like, can I smoke on here? Because I've never been on a podcast before, and I know I couldn't smoke on like live streams on TikTok and shit. So I was like, I gotta know the rules, you know? Like I'm learning.
They didn't want you to smoke on TikTok? I guess was it more for like child protection sort of rules or something?
Yeah, they're just strict on TikTok. I had like 350,000 followers. I had like over like 10 million likes. Like I felt so high. I got recognized at a grocery store once. My ego was so high back then, and it was so I was on TikTok, and I was doing live streams, and I was making good money. I lived out. We moved out to South Carolina. We got an Airbnb that my agency helped us pay for, and I ended up getting into beef with a lot of the bigger TikTokers, like Joe Bartolozzi, and just I got into beef with a lot of people. I was a troublemaker with a big ego, but it got views, and that paid bills, so whatever. Until I got into beef, and the person I got into beef with, Joe Bartolozzi, told everybody to mass report my account. And overnight, I went from living right on the beach in South Carolina to sleeping on a park bench in Central Florida, and I was homeless. I had nothing. We got a bus ticket out of South Carolina to come back to Florida because that's where my family's at, and the bus station got shot up while I was in there on the way back, and that was scary as shit. The bus driver pulled over randomly because everyone was shouting on the bus. It was I do not like Greyhound buses. I will never go on a Greyhound bus ever again. I need to get a private jet. That's what I'm saving up for. That's why I'm making music, just so I get a private jet so I can stay away from the Greyhound buses.
Actually, would it be like the private jet you see with like John Travolta has in his front yard?
Yes, actually, because I used to live in Ocala, Florida, and my sister used to work in Ocala, Florida, and my sister actually saw John Travolta. And I was a manager at Dunkin' Donuts, you know, big stuff. I was making the big bucks. I was a manager, and one of my employees, she was an older lady. I was making the big bucks.
Yeah.
It was weird because I made like, I think it was like $12,000 a year, and I thought that was so much. And then I met this guy, and he's an electrician, and he makes like that in like a month. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I was living big. What the fuck? I think financially is weird. I just want to bring up like financials because I think it's so weird because I come from like West Palm Beach, very like ghetto town, when I was like 18, I met this girl, and she invited me to her house, and she had a chandelier. She had a 2-story house with a chandelier. That chandelier blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? That chandelier's bigger than my house. That's some big shit.
Yeah, you learn some people got the bigger houses and the bigger mansions and all that sort of stuff to do, and then you realize, damn, I'm so minuscule, that sort of thing. So
I feel like being born rich must suck because I live in a camper trailer right now, right?
Yep.
So it's like I'm like from the bottom. So at least when I'm up, I can be like, I came from down there, now I'm up here. But I feel like if you're already born up there and you just get higher, it's like I came from up there to a little bit higher. It's called something. What is it called? Like the minuscule. It's like a graph thing. Like
I was just saying, like a one incremental step. Really, that's really all you really did. So
it does. It's wild.
You get a little technical.
Wild.
Yeah. Regardless, though, it's good to see you doing well too, and hopefully hurricanes kind of stay away. To be honest, because I know, at least in Upper Florida, got hit pretty hard too, and then some rains came through and tore up New York City recently too. So hopefully everyone's okay there. So
shout out to everybody being affected by the hurricane in Florida. Shout out to the All About Music podcast. I probably butchered the name.
Oh, Music Matters, Dad. You gotta come to the Pittsburgh reason. So
I was close. I actually listen to your podcast a lot, and then I was like, yeah, I'm making music now. What stops me from just like texting on Instagram, being like, hey, can I get it on? Like nothing stops me. I'm gonna shoot my shot. You miss 100% of the chances you don't take, and so it's like I don't know, put myself out there.
Oh yeah, and I mean it was 50-50 too. So
yeah. Have you listened to my music?
I listened to a couple, yeah. So I at least familiarized with it.
What songs did you listen to, and how bad were they? I want you to hurt my feelings.
Well, off the top of my head, you know what? I probably should have had that up. I think it was One Door. Yeah, I think I did One Door.
One Door.
So yeah.
I think that song's probably like one of the best ones I ever made. I think the hook is really catchy. I feel like I made that in are you familiar with like DAWs and like audio recording programs?
Oh yeah. In fact, I actually use my interface for most of the podcast recording here too, and then I have Logic Pro for when I do drum covers and stuff like that. And then Final Cut Pro with like in terms of editing. So I'm a big Mac user. I guess are you a Mac or are you a Windows?
Windows all the way.
Oh yeah.
I never got into Macs because I always had Windows. I got my first computer when I was like 12. We got a family computer back when family computers were a thing. Do you remember that? You'd have like one computer for the entire house. I'm saying like that like I'm old, but back in like 2009, 8, that was the norm.
I would say
it was. I don't remember dial-up. We didn't have dial-up, but we had it was weird.
I think I do remember having like two computers, but like one was like strictly like more the work from home computer that my mom would use, and then my sister had like the other one and play like these cheesy sort of games. At times it would be like one was called
Flash
Zumbinis.
Games. Newgrounds. I grew up on Newgrounds.
Did you?
Newgrounds is my shit. Love Newgrounds. What games did you play back then on Flash?
Well, it was more of AOL. I don't know if that's the same thing, but really, I was. I really did like one game. It was called Zumbinis. It was like these little characters you would like make. They were like round balls with like legs. You can make them with like Cyclops, red noses, and that sort of thing too, with like a little tuft of hair on top. And you had to like take it through all these sort of how to explain it. I think it's more like events, and you had to make sure that you got it right. Otherwise, some people got left behind. So.
That's fun. I feel bad for the next generation of kids because like we grew up with like Newgrounds and we had like Flash games and there wasn't like have you ever tried to play a mobile game in this day and age?
I played a little bit, and you know what? I think I actually did the Arnold Schwarzenegger game, whatever that war game was called, and I ended up hating that a little later. That was actually, you know, it was cheap too because you kept getting whenever you joined like a group, you kept getting like bombarded because of these jerks who would always come around being like big shots and stuff. The whole thing with like survival of the fittest, that sort of shit.
That's really fucking cool. For me, I feel bad for the next generation because like there's ads like you can't. There's like the apps like back when like phones first started coming out and there was like you would get maybe like one ad when you open up the app and that was it. Now it's like every like 2 minutes you're just trying to play this stupid game where you're placing blocks in a puzzle to turn your mind off of a long day. You're stressed out and it's just ad. I just want to turn on my ad blocker, but they don't even have ad block for fucking that kind of stuff anymore.
Actually,
it's like
one of the games we played, it's Toon Blast, and that's something my mom's been addicted to for a good number of years. And they'll let you play ads to get like extra moves per se. So,
But at least you had a choice. They weren't forced down your throat. You kind of had a choice. Like, if I don't want it, I don't have to watch the ad. I'm doing it on my own fruition. It gives you a sense of power, a little bit.
yeah.
And now you don't have that. Everything's just like ad.
I mean, advertising is a good business too. I mean, that's what most businesses have to do. So Louie, welcome to my podcast right here. Actually, we already jumped in about 12 minutes, started talking about random shit too. So, all right.
Sorry, it's my fault. I'm a little sporadic.
No, you're good. But in this case, we just like to get to know you more about as the musician and as the individual too. So, I already sent you the questions, so hopefully you had time to review. Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, we'll start with the first one. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I guess, how did you become an indie musician?
So I was born in the same place the Island Boys were born. I mentioned that. It's a long story. So we lived in West Palm Beach, and then we ended up moving to a small town called Bellevue, Florida. It's like in Central Florida, and it's a horrible place to grow up because it's like an old person's community. It seems like from the outside, but there's a lot of like gang and criminal activity that goes on there. A lot of homeless people. And what they'll do is they'll take the people out of that town, out of Bellevue, and put them into Ocala when they arrest you. So if you get arrested in Bellevue, they'll put you in Ocala so you're over the line. So criminal activity in Ocala, since it's a bigger area, seems like, well, it's not that much criminal activity. So like Bellevue looks squeaky clean on paper. It's like a perfect place to move in when you're retiring, but it really wasn't. And we lived there for a little bit. And we moved to another place next to there, Summerfield, and that was out in the middle of nowhere. I was born to my mom, who is disabled, so she made like probably like $800 a month, and she supported me and my brother off of it. My dad was a Vietnam vet. He died when I was 4 months old. He had a statue of him built in Tristville, Alabama, because he was like a high-ranking Army man. So. That's kind of what we did. We never had that much money at all, but my mom always made the best of it, and she homeschooled me and my brother. Never been to public school, and I never eaten meat. My mom has been a vegetarian her whole life. Before it was cool. She was a vegetarian like the late 90s. Before being a vegetarian was all the hot shit. Then we lived in Bellevue. We moved back to Bellevue, and I lived in an apartment, and I was a wedding photographer, and I was probably like 16. And then COVID happened, and we ended up losing our apartment because there was a housing crisis. And so our landlord, there was a moratorium where they couldn't evict you. But our landlord wasn't, so no one was paying their bills. So my landlord wasn't fixing anything in the apartment, and we had a broken air conditioner. You can't have that in Florida, especially in the summer. So we complained, like, hey, can you fix the air conditioner? And he was like, no. And we were like, do it. And he was like, no. And so we had like no maintenance on the property. So my mom was like, well, if you ain't fixing shit, then I ain't paying bills. You got to make sure that's your job as a landlord, is to fix shit. That's your job. That's why we don't own a house. We were renting because we don't want to fix shit. So he illegally evicted us by finding a loophole, because you couldn't evict someone during COVID, but you could take possession of the property. So it's like an eviction, but slightly different. And he did that, and there was no houses. Like, my mom wasn't. I lost my wedding photography job because I can't do wedding photography over Zoom, unfortunately. My brother ended up losing his job because he wasn't working at an essential business. So he moved in with my grandma. I mean, my mom were kind of like out with like nothing. Like so we moved in with my sister, and she's crazy. She's crazy. I'm gonna get to her later. I have a whole story with my sister. It's funny. But she's crazy, and she took the thermostat, she took the coffee maker, and my mom was paying her bills, like giving her money too as much as she could, and my sister just didn't want us there, wouldn't help us find a place. So I ended up getting kind of famous on TikTok. I got I think it was like 80,000 followers on one account, and I had an agency, and I explained like my problem to the agency, and they got me an Airbnb in South Carolina. So my uncle drove us to South Carolina, and my agency paid him for gas. So we went to South Carolina, and we hung out there, and it was really nice. It was a condo right it was like a 5-minute walk from the beach. and I got hooked up with like this Instagram model for my agency. Hooked me up with an Instagram model, so here I am on a condo. I'm famous with the Instagram model. I kept getting comments that I look like one TikToker, Only JS. So I made an account as a joke called Only JS Brother. Like, I'm Only JS's brother, haha, look at me. That account got like 300,000 followers within like a week. It was insane. Like, I'm getting like calls from like people, and it's like, whoa, this is, because I thought I was famous before with 80,000, but now I have like 300,000 on one account, 80,000 on another account. It's wild. But then I ended up getting the beef with people. I ended up getting my account banned, and so my agency dropped me since I didn't have an account because both of my accounts got banned. So we got back to Bellevue or Florida on a Greyhound bus. But we had like my income was gone. We spent all of our money on there. We had nowhere to go. We were fucked. So we walked from the Villages to Bellevue, which is like it's probably like an hour drive. So it was a long ass fucking walk. We don't have a car. We didn't have anything. So we ended up walking to Bellevue to go to my grandma's house. We go to my grandma's house. We're sitting out front of her porch, and we're asking for water because we had no money. We didn't drink anything. We walked like fucking 8 hours. It was insane. So we knock on her door. We walked all this way, and no one answers the door. So we just kind of sit out on the porch, and I think we had cigarettes, and we were smoking cigarettes, and we were just relaxing on her porch. And then the cops come. And my grandma called the cops on us. I don't know why. I asked her about it like later because I was like, why did you do that? She was like, I never did that. I was like, yeah, you did. The cops showed up and told us to leave, that we were trespassed off your property. Don't give me that. It's probably some reason that I don't understand. We weren't being loud or anything. We were just sitting on her porch waiting for her to open the door and waiting for her to come home or wherever. So we had nowhere to go, so we went to a park next to her house. And we slept on a park bench, and the mosquitoes were eating our asses up. And we did that for like 4 or 5 days, sleeping on a park bench. And then we were like, well, fuck, we don't know what to do. So we went to a church. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not like that religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not like religious. But we had nowhere else to go besides like a church to be like, what the fuck do we do? So they got us this motel called the Shangri-La Motel, and it was in the ghetto. And we went into the motel, and there were dead cockroaches all over that motel. And the person that owned the motel said, well, you ain't paying for this. This ain't a Hilton. You have to clean your room. So we had to clean our bedroom at a hotel. Wild. I don't understand how that's legal. How?
Hey, housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Yeah, we were the housekeeping in this fucking hotel. Which it's like, it wasn't a homeless camp. It wasn't like a homeless shelter. So we were like down on luck. I have 6 other siblings. So one of my older brothers got us a camper trailer, and we had like nowhere to put it, and he helped us find a place to put it. So he popped on the camper trailer in Bellevue, and I missed the point. So back when I lived by my grandparents in Bellevue, when like after we moved from West Palm Beach, my grandpa could play the guitar, and I have an uncle Dale who was credited on a Johnny Cash album. He played the guitar with Johnny Cash on an album, which is wild. And I always thought playing the guitar was cool. And I asked him like, hey, can I want a guitar? And my grandfather couldn't afford it. But what he did was he got a cardboard cereal box, and he cut a hole in it, and he put silly bands. Do you remember silly bands? And he put the silly bands over it, and that was my guitar. And I played that, and I was probably like 8, 9, and I played that. And he eventually got me a like children's guitar, which I played. And then on my 12th birthday, my Uncle Dale gave me the guitar that he played with Johnny Cash, which was insane. I was so scared of breaking that guitar. It's now in storage, unfortunately. That sucks. But and through it all, like a lot of like when I was homeless and stuff, sleeping on the park bench, I had nothing to do. So I had a notepad and a pencil, and I would just start writing down song lyrics. And because that was like my escape from like life is fucking hell right now. It's scary, but I'm just gonna take to music. So so we lived there for a bit, and my mom ended up getting in, well, not really an argument. My mom had like a screened-in porch that she set up on the trailer. She made herself, and the way that I don't even know how this was legal. The way that the RV park was set up was there was RV, like not more than like 3 feet away from each other. If one of those propane tanks, because every RV and camper trailer has a propane tank, one of those go off, it's going to be a domino effect. Bam, 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 bam. They were so close together. My mom made like a little screened-in porch. The neighbor got mad because one person moves out that was next to us. Another person comes in with a bigger trailer and is yelling at my mom about the screened-in porch at like 3 a.m. And I had to go to work, and that's why I came out and I was like, guys, stop yelling at each other. It's just a fucking porch. And then the girl started yelling at me, and I said, I have a gun in the house. If you step on the property, because she was trying to snag on the screen, trying to take it down. I was like, if you touch our shit, I will fucking shoot you. Don't fuck with me. They didn't like that too much. You shouldn't threaten shooting people. They were not a big fan of that. So she ended up telling the landlord, and we ended up we lost that place. But we couldn't find another another RV lot. We lived there for like 3 years. So my mom had to go to my uncle's place where I am now in the middle of nowhere. I didn't want to go in the middle of nowhere. So my sister, who was a fucking crazy person that we lived with before, was like, hey, how about you move in with me? Because I explained to her what happened. It was also weird because I was taking a walk because me and mom got into like a little bit of an argument. So I was taking a walk to calm my mind, and my sister drives down. Keep in mind, she lives like 3 hours away. Conveniently drives down and sees me and stops the car on the day that we're about to move. We're about to move the next day. And she's like, come move with me. Let me know what time to pick you up, whatever. So I was like, okay, bitchin'. I'm going to live with her, and she says she got a good job for me, and I'm going to be in it, and I'm going to make it out of poverty and save up money and get my mom out of poverty, and because it was a good job. It was a factory job. So my mom ended up going to the middle of nowhere. I ended up living with my sister. Keep in mind, at this point, the most time I ever spent away from my mom was like fucking like when I go to work. Like, cause she homeschooled me. She sheltered me and my brother very much. So this is the longest I ever spent without my mom, like being next to me. And I was like 18. So my sister moves me in, and she has like a drinking problem really bad, and she got me into drinking. So what she did was she had like a bong, and she had weed, and we smoked, and I just got the job at the factory, and she said sign the direct deposit papers to my account, because she's a real estate banker. So she was like, direct deposit the money to my account, and I'll invest it for you. That way, when and if you lose the job, you'll have money to fall back on to still pay me rent. Because she wanted me to pay her like, I don't know, it's probably like $400 every month. So I was like, okay. And she's like, I'll take that out in case like the job falls out, you'll still have a place to live. Okay, cool. So I worked there for like 4 months, 5 months. Now, her boyfriend was my boss. She was cheating on him, and he was my ride to work because they lived together. So he asked me in the car, has Danielle been cheating on me? And I was like, no, definitely not. No. I was not being a snitch. Well, he ended up finding out that she cheated, and he got mad at me for that, for lying to him, and he fired me, which fucking sucked. So,
oh, man. Actually, I picture like a Sopranos event, like, all right, afterwards, you just start throwing everything out of the trailer next. That's the thing.
Yeah, it was, so whatever. So I got another job. I was a head cook at a restaurant, and we were on my day off, and I'm like 19 at this point, and my sister gets a bucket of beer at my job. It was my day off, and she's like, "You want to have a beer?" And I was like, "I don't, because the district manager's in right now. I don't want to get fucking yelled at for drinking underage." And she's like, "Nah, I'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just do it. Come on, just drink. Have fun." Whatever. She always did. She always pressured me into drinking. Like, we would stay up. Like, I worked at 4 a.m, and she would keep me up to like 12 o'clock at night drinking, smoking, and I would have to wake up at 4 a.m. I got like no sleep, and I would only sleep on the weekends because that's when I was off. There's also more stuff that happened. Like, she's very controlling, and she would not let me call anybody. She had cameras set up in her house, and if she saw that I was calling my mom or my brother or anybody, she would leave for the weekend with her boyfriend, go off to like bars and go get a hotel and like have like a mini vacation and leave me there. She never had food in the house because she just always went out to eat. So if I ever pissed her off, even though she had all my money, I had no money in my account. The only way I could afford like cigarettes, like important shit, was I knew this guy who would ask me like weird questions about my sex life for $5 a question. Weird shit, but I needed cigarettes, so whatever. So, so I had like I saved up some money from that, and I was out of cigarettes, and I had no food, and they were off for like the weekend, and I believe it fell on a holiday, so it was like a 4-day weekend, and like 3 days prior, they didn't take me out to eat because my sister was mad that I called my mom. So I didn't eat for like 2 weeks, and I had like enough money to get a pack of cigarettes or some food. I haven't eaten in a week. What do I choose? Obviously the cigarettes.
It's always the cigarettes, yeah. I mean, it's
always
always
the cigarettes. I had to choose. It was a difficult decision, but I made it.
absolutely a lightsaber, yeah. So yeah,
a lightsaber, yeah. It's a vegetable. Tobacco is a vegetable. It's basically food. It was wild shit like that. They would go up on the weekends. They would take the thermostat, so I couldn't turn on the air conditioner, so I had to sweat in the house. Like, they were some crazy people that I lived with. Like, I can't explain to you how insane it was. So, but she always kept me drunk. She always kept me high. So you never think about it because you're like, well, I'm drunk, I'm partying, whatever. This is normal, right? This is fucking normal. Taking the thermostat, leaving me with fucking weeks without food. It's normal. So I ended up losing that job, and I was probably unemployed for the first time. And I was unemployed for like a week and a half. Me and my sister, we were partying and drinking one day, and we were all having fun. And the next day, she just doesn't talk to me. We lived in the same house. It was a tiny house. Why wasn't she talking to me? She didn't talk to me for like 3 weeks, and I didn't eat for like 3 weeks. I ended up getting enough money to buy food and cigarettes, so I had some, but it wasn't like a lot of food. It was like some chips or a loaf of bread that I ate because that's all we had. That's all I could afford was a loaf of bread. So I just eat like a loaf of bread and shit. And one day I'm just sitting on the porch and I'm just having a cigarette, and she comes in drunk from the bar with her boyfriend. And she starts like shoving me, and she would normally just like randomly attack me thinking I stole her phone or shit, because I think she's schizophrenic. She'd just be like, "You're stealing my phone, blah blah blah," and start wailing on me, and I would just cover my face and like, whatever. You're obviously going through something. That's on you. So so she came in, she starts like shoving me and hitting me, whatever. That was kind of normal, and because she figured out that I called my mom, but that was a normal thing. I didn't think anything about it. Then she takes like one outfit. Keep in mind, I had a shit ton of clothes, like, that I got from like, I had like camera equipment that my agency bought me when I was a TikToker. I had some stuff, and my laptop and my microphone, this stuff, in her house. And she throws out like one outfit of mine, throws it outside, and I'm like, what the fuck? So she locks that door. So I go into the side door, and she just starts fucking wailing on me when I walk in, pushing me out. I actually have it recorded because I was recording it because it was just like, and it was insane. So I'm outside, I'm having a cigarette, I'm just waiting for her to calm down or whatever, because apparently I pissed her off by saying something to my mom, whatever. Then the cops, I have a terrible, I can't sit on a porch and the cops always fucking come. The cops come. Keep in mind, I lived there for like 6-7 months. Maybe 8 months. The cops come, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. And they go up to the door and they knock on the door. And my sister says she does not know me. She has never met me a day in her life. And I'm a schizophrenic who was on the streets that she picked up to stay with her for a day. The cops would not let me in the house to grab any mail or proof that was my address. And it sucked because I don't know where, like, for number one, she has all my money that she's supposed to be saving for me. My laptop's in there, my microphone's in there, everything I own is in that house, and all I have is one fucking outfit and the clothes on my back. So her boyfriend's boyfriend she was dating at that time, mom was won the Powerball. So she won like $300 million. So he got her to get me a hotel room in this shitty motel. And I was like, fuck. So I spent the night in that hotel, and I was stressed the fuck out, and I didn't have a phone charger. I had nothing. I just had like my phone and a pack of cigarettes, and I had like another pack of cigarettes that were in there that was in my drawer, and I'm like, fuck. So I ended up convincing the guy who was sending me money and stuff. I explained what happened. I was like, I need some money for cigarettes. Like, I'm fucked. So he sends me money for another pack of cigarettes, and I go out to get another pack of cigarettes. And one of my old coworkers at the restaurant I was a head cook at seen me and was like, yo, what's up? I was like, what's up? And he's like, what are you doing over here? And I'm like, and I explain what happened. He's like, oh, let's hang out, let's drink. So he buys like a 24 pack of beer, and we're just drinking. And he goes inside and he's like, can I use the restroom? I'm like, yeah. He goes inside to the restroom. Keep in mind, I'm stressed the fuck out. Like, I also forgot to mention I have a new EP that I dropped today, or yeah, today, and it's called Eyes. When my sister was saying I was a schizophrenic and stuff, I looked and it gave me a panic attack because I looked at her and in her eyes were soulless. That scared me. Have you ever looked at somebody and they have like hollow eyes, like soulless eyes? That scared the shit out of me.
I don't know if I could ever say something like that, to be honest, but I think at least in terms of like TV shows, I think maybe you could like see something like that too. But unfortunately, in my life, I have not gone anything like that too.
It was bad. It was like it was scary. It literally gave me like I had to like when the cops talking to me, and I looked at her and I'm remaining calm, and I looked at her eyes and it fucking freaked me the fuck out. So I just put my hands up and I walk away. And I start sitting on the curb, and I come back like maybe I'm just fucking like emotional right now, and I go back up there and I look at her again. And her eyes are still soulless, and it freaked me the fuck out. It freaked me out. It was just insane that like this person that hold my finances, I trusted with everything I had, did this to me, and it doesn't give a fuck about me now, and her eyes are fucking scary shit. So I'm in the guy gets the 24 pack beer. He goes into the bathroom, and he asks, "Are you gonna come in?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." So he closes the door, and he's like, "Oh, the mosquitoes are biting me. Can we go inside?" I was like, "Sure." And there's 2 beds. There was a bed facing the door and a bed near the bathroom. So 2 beds. He walks in, and he sits on the bed next to the door, and I sit on the other bed. He reaches in his pocket and grabs like it looks like he was grabbing a pocket knife, and he leans over and closes the door with the other hand. Fuck, that's scary. So I run out, and he's like, "Are you sure you don't want to do anything with me? Like you're really good looking and shit."
Oh jeez.
Shit. So I say like, "Oh, I need to go in and grab something." I run inside and I lock the door, and he pounds outside of the fucking door for like an hour and a half, and I'm texting him like, "Get the fuck away from me, get the fuck out." And he's like, "No, I just wanted a beer, just hand me a beer." "No, leave. I will cash up you the money for the beer. I don't give a fuck. Just fucking leave." So that was scary as shit. So after all this happens, I almost get fucking raped. I lost all my shit. I don't know where all my money is. I don't know if I'm gonna have my laptop. Don't know if I'm gonna have my microphone. And I have beer, and so I'm just drinking. And I didn't have a phone because I didn't have a phone charger. I had nothing. And I turn on fucking Disney tunes, like fucking kids shows, and I'm just watching it. And there was a pen in the drawer and a Bible. Now, I'm gonna sound like a real piece of shit, but I ripped out a page of the Bible and started writing song lyrics on it. I needed to let out my frustration. The only way I knew how to do that was music.
Blasphemy, that sort of thing too. So.
It's blasphemy. I'm sorry. I committed a sin.
Okay.
But I just started writing down music and watching kids shows, and I couldn't sleep all that night. It was terrifying. So. Next, it's like 6 a.m. I hear banging on the door, and I'm thinking, "Oh my god, this fucking creep's back." Fuck. So I say, "Who is it?" And he's like, "Matt, my sister's boyfriend." I'm like, "Shit." So I open the door, and he's like, "Get in the car. I'm gonna take you to your mom's place out in the middle of nowhere." And I was like, "No." Number one, my sister owes me like $10,000. I don't know where all my shit is. No. Like, I'm already paid up on rent, and no, no, fuck that. And so he opens the trunk, and my microphone and my laptop was there. And I was like, and he says, "This is all your stuff, right?" And I was like, "No, I have a bunch of other stuff." And he goes, "No, you don't have a bunch of other stuff. Your sister has a bunch of other stuff." And I was like, "You fucking prick." At least he gave me my laptop and microphone. But all my clothes, my collectibles, my film equipment, probably like thousands of dollars worth of shit I accumulated throughout the years. Collectibles, like my ex gave me a plush frog and a plush fox, and she ended up dying in a car accident. I wanted that shit, so I told him like, "Yo, I ain't leaving until you get all my shit. I ain't getting in the car." And then he tells me, "Look, because my sister has 2 kids," and he says she has half custody of them. She only has them like 1 week, and then she doesn't have them another week to see at their dads. And he says, "If you don't get in the car, you're gonna go to jail." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Me and your sister will go to court and say that you touched your nieces if you don't get in the car right now." It was like the movies where you hear like that doing, and it's just like your soul almost leaves your body of like, fuck, I am completely fucking helpless. There is nothing I can fucking do. And it was scary, and it was, and so I had to sit in the car with this motherfucker for like 4 hours. It was away from where they lived. 4 hours I had to sit with this motherfucker who threatened me like that. And there's nothing I could do. I was fucking fucked. I was royally fucked. And but in the meantime, like when my sister would like leave me at home and they would go out for weekends and stuff, I would try to make music. And every time I tried to make a beat, it sounded so flat. It was like bum bum da bum bum da, and it was like generic shit. And I was drunk. I was alone home. I was hungry, and I just stared at Cakewalk. It's a free music making program, and I was like, why the fuck can't I make a good beat? And I thought about it for hours, and I just stared at it. Like, why the fuck can't I make a good beat? And something just clicked. And I just put something together that was, like, really cool. I think it was the song Internet. I put together. I was like, dude, what the fuck? How did I do this? So, and that was kind of my way to, like, escape the hell that I was living in of, like, it being hot, hungry, whatever. At least I have my laptop and my microphone. I can make some music. It's maybe not good music, but I can make some music. And it was kind of the only form of escape I had, really. And that's my life story. Thank you. You're my therapist now.
Dude, actually, that set the record right there, to be honest. I think people are going to say this are going to be like, what the fuck, man? That sort of thing. I mean, you can't make this shit up, to be honest. And like, this is probably worse than what you saw, like what's going on in the White House right now, that sort of thing too. So
it's fucking insanity. And I still never got any money back. My sister won't talk to me. And that's like, and it sucks because I went hungry so I could have money for when this eventually happened. And she bought like a brand new car. Like after I moved out, she bought a brand new car. She got a roof fixed. She like bought a bunch of jewelry and shit. Like, you fucking prick. Was it really worth that? Was it really hurting somebody worth that much money? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't.
No.
It's genuine insanity.
Yeah, she got to get checked into the West Wing, to be honest. So, but I guess, has your life been okay right now? I guess you and Mom, you both guys doing okay?
Yeah, we're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, really. I made like $10 off royalties on my music, and my mom rolls her cigarettes because it's cheaper, and it's the only way we can like get cigarettes out here, because you just buy like a bag of tobacco and some tubes, and then you roll your own, because that's the only thing that delivers out here. Since DoorDash won't, this also, I'm gonna get on a little tangent here. How come DoorDash and like Instacart will deliver you wine, booze, whatever the fuck you want, but they will not deliver cigarettes? Why the fuck? That makes no sense to me. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But my uncle came down because we were living on my uncle's property, and he comes down every weekend. And I made like $10 off royalties on my music, and I was like, "Fuck yeah! I get to buy like a good pack of cigarettes, Camels. Fuck yeah! You know, celebrate. You know, I released an EP. I got I made $10. I'm basically like becoming a millionaire soon.
We're working our way towards it there. Of course,
working our way towards it, so I can get a private jet.
Yeah. Actually, I would say you got to at least get back to the fame and glory you had with your TikTok days, to be honest, too. So
it was so weird, and it seems so weird, and I feel like a narcissist because like every time I meet somebody or like I'm talking to somebody, I want to bring up the stories I have because I have so many fucking stories. I feel like does everybody live a life like me? Because it's at this point where I don't know that many people really. So is it like everybody have like that? Is that just the normal life to be like famous one day, out on the streets the next? Like, is that normal?
I would say if you're not responsible, then yeah. I mean, you'll hear stories about people who are in professional sports. They go and spend all the money on booze, girls, this sort of fancy event. Next thing you know, they're broke, and then they file for bankruptcy, that sort of thing too. So yeah, you hear those stories.
But it doesn't seem like but I'm not saying it's like it's just like a normal person you see off the street. Do they ever go through that? Is it like a normal? What is normal?
I don't know. In fact, we think about everything now with COVID and everything too. It's almost like, what is normal nowadays? And I guess you did harp on it a little bit too. So I guess how bad did COVID impact you?
Well, really fucking bad. It was terrible. I mean, it was the catalyst for the highest point of my life, because when COVID happened, I was in South Carolina. I was making TikToks. I had an Instagram model girlfriend. I was right next to the beach. But was it really worth from going like living in like a 2-bedroom apartment to living in a 1-bedroom camper? Like was that like 2-3 month period of like the highest of your life? Because now you got like a taste of it, and it's kind of like a tease at that point. Like if it was like for like a couple years, it'd be like that was worth it. But for 3 months of it,
I'd say not so much.
3 months of upper middle class for fucking, we're going on 4 years now or some shit of poverty. Or yeah, 3 years because 2023 now. So it's like, was it really worth it? And it's
maybe in hindsight, maybe not so much. But I mean, you were kind of living in the moment, so I would say
COVID was bad though.
Yeah,
I guess it really fucked me up.
I was gonna say, did you have any brushes with it? I guess anyone in your family did.
I'm a kind of heavy smoker, as you can tell. So is my mom. My mom is 60 years old. She had me when she was 45, and my dad was like in his 60s. Like it was insane. The fact I was born. The fact I was born is a miracle. And we're both very heavy smokers, and we never caught COVID. We were in bus stations, hotels, everywhere really, and we never caught it. I never had it personally. My mom never had it. I don't know anybody who really had it. And Florida was very loose on the laws of
restrictions,
and stuff.
That's our thing.
Yeah, it was very loose on there, and all my family's from Florida. None of my family caught it. They were all out. Like my grandma, who's like 90 something years old, is was still out going to like bars and shit with her other daughter, and they never got sick. It's insane.
That's good to hear.
It's also insane. Like my grandfather, he recently passed, but he was like in his late 80s, and he was a smoker his whole life. He drank a lot, and it's insane. Like, how long could you have lived if you just never did any of that?
I would say a little bit longer, to be honest, because they always say like
a little bit longer. But do you really like? At what point is like living like when you're 112? Is that really fun? Because like all you've seen all your friends die. Wouldn't it be depressing?
I'd say sort of, yeah. I think there was like some videos on Instagram, like some people out in Asia who live like 120, close to maybe 130, to be honest. And it's like
I don't want to get that old. I think like I maybe want to be like in my late 70s, and that's like when it's like, because at that point then you like can't really breathe that well. Your knees hurt. It hurts to get up. Your back hurts. It's like, well, you're living, but is your quality of life good?
I'd say you could try to force your way, to be honest. Of course, it'd be like the Golden Girls sort of lifestyle afterwards, if that's what you wanted to try to do. So,
on the topic of COVID, I'm gonna get into. You mind if I get into like conspiracy theories? Because you mentioned the Golden Girls and COVID. Betty White passed right after taking the vaccine. I said it. So did like Queen Elizabeth. I know they're like old, but like Freedom Gottfried. They all three died around the same time after getting the vaccine.
Oh man,
I'm scared. My mom was an anti-vaxxer before it was cool. I never had like any flu shots or anything, which is I don't know if that's I can't speak on that. I ain't a doctor, but I've never been sick.
I mean, apparently it's working. So it's either that or you found the immune system with smoking cigarettes too. So
yeah, so it's like I got genetics. I don't need it.
It's either that or just don't give up the smoking. Otherwise, then all the sickness comes in, and then afterwards you're fucked. That's our thing.
When I was younger, I had breathing problems. I had they diagnosed me with asthma, and then they diagnosed me with bronchitis, and then they diagnosed me with like something else, and then they diagnosed me with fucking allergies. And it turns out it was allergies all along. That was the only time I ever been to like the hospital in the ER, and that was wild. I was on a bunch of medicine that like wasn't even doing anything because it wasn't the problem. The problem wasn't bronchitis or anything. It was but I had breathing problems, and I would just like stop breathing, and I needed an inhaler. And then I started smoking because one of my friends was like, "Hey, have a cigarette. Have a cigarette." I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I'm cool. I'm a cool person." It's actually this girl I knew. Her name was Sky, and she said that she only dated guys who smoked. So I was like, "Oh, I can smoke. I'm gonna be a cool motherfucker." After I started smoking,
like, she's so hot. We'll start smoking. That's our thing.
Yeah. So after I started smoking, though, I haven't been sent to the ER for breathing-related problems. I haven't had any breathing-related problems. It improved my breathing. But that's the Native American in me, because I'm Native American, and they use tobacco for hundreds of generations. Like, you know what I mean?
I think there's something else involved too, because I think it gives them like a nice psychedelic experience too. Interacts with nature and all that stuff. So I guess which Native American tribe?
Cherokee.
You Cherokee?
Cherokee. My grandma is Canadian, and my grandfather is Cherokee, and my dad was also Cherokee.
They kind of
So
stick with the Cherokee traditions or anything like that. I don't know, like,
I
because actually I've been in Apache and actually
I,
out west, to be honest. So yeah.
I do partake in some, like smoking tobacco is a form of prayer, and like pipes, like peace pipes, and I do look like an old man sometimes with a wooden pipe. You know, my uncle has a wooden pipe, and we'll pass around the pipe and put some like weed in it with some tobacco. You kind of mix it together and you smoke it, and it's kind of what our ancestors did, and we hang out and do that kind of stuff. But other than like anything else other than that, not really.
I was say, why didn't you just set some fucking teepee somewhere when you were just walking over the place and just call it a day?
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I made this song, and it should be released by the podcast is out, but it's called Treason, and it's like it's this weird concept of like homelessness and all this shit I faced in my life wouldn't have been that bad if America was still the America that it was meant to be. Like you were like back in the day, you were supposed to just like pull off on the side of the road and make yourself like a little house in the woods, and that was your land. That was your land. That was you own that. That was the law back then. That was the Constitution was set up for that. But now, like people should not have own real estate like that. You should own one house. There should be no reason you should need. Because what ends up happening, like with my landlord in Bellevue that evicted us for the air conditioner, he owned a bunch of properties because his dad owned a bunch of properties, and the dad before him owned a bunch of properties. So that gets passed down, and now like half of Bellevue is owned by this one person, and it's monopolized. And I feel like at least like two houses, maybe like you want to like have a house for your family and a house for you, maybe two houses. But I feel like owning like 80 houses, trying to make a profit is scummy because we all need a house. It's not like it's an essential service. It's not like cigarettes or something. That's like you kind of need it, kind of don't. I don't know. That's my opinion on that.
No, I can see what you mean too. And I think it's more of Airbnb, to be honest. I don't know if that's part of the reason too. But you definitely see like a lot of people, especially those with like the big wallets and everything too, they'll have like all these properties off, like one all the way up in Maine, for instance, and they got one in Florida, so they migrate like birds then, to be honest. So
And don't get me started on snowbirds. I can't stand snowbirds.
okay.
I can't. Living in Florida, snowbirds suck because they're always like these rich white old people who feel so entitled to everything. When you're working in, if anybody's watching this ever worked in fast food or retail in Florida, they'll understand. They feel like they deserve everything because they're the tourist, they're the guest. You should treat them with the highest respect.
I would say actually a friend of mine introduced me to the Florida Man, which always like show like these very fucked up sort of crimes that always happen in Florida, to be honest. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I'm actually a Florida man.
I know,
I had a
yeah.
warrant
I mean,
out for
we just went through like 20 minutes of like a whole Florida Man sort of story right there.
I had an arrest warrant out for a bit because for a Florida man crime. It's the stupidest thing. It was because there were these breaker boxes attached to traffic lights and it turned off like a couple of it turned off the traffic lights and a couple of the street lights, and they had us on the cameras for the traffic cameras, and they had us posted all over the town. They showed us photos. They showed all the gas station workers photos of us. Me and my ragtag group of friends. We turned off the traffic lights, and everybody everywhere knew about it, and we had warrants out for our arrest. And so what we did was, instead of like going outside and like getting Slurpees and partying in the streets, we had to just stay inside and play GTA at my friend Jacob's house. And we did that for like 3 months until they forgot.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised they didn't actually find the address and then just like go from there, to be honest. So
it was very shitty CCTV footage.
so they weren't able to see the face too well. Okay.
I also think they were just trying to scare us because like we knew everybody that worked everywhere because it was a small town, and they told us that the police came in with the CCTV footage, screenshots of it, and showed all me and my friend group, and we didn't believe him because we thought he was just trying to pull our leg. So we went to another gas station, and that person told us the same thing, and then we were like, shit.
Be live for the house, play GTA, that sort of thing.
Run to the house, play GTA, let's commit crimes. in the virtual world.
Yes. Make love and do all that other stuff in the virtual world. That sort of thing.
Hey, it's safer that way.
I mean, hey, it works.
Video games are good for the society. Is what I learned.
You know, I actually brought that up a couple times too. I was like, see, video games were good for something. Especially because I used Rock Band that got me into playing drums. So I can relate to how video games were good. So
it's like that's like the Post Malone story. Have you ever heard the story about Post Malone?
I don't think I heard too much of a story about him. I know of some of the songs he did. I think he did one with like Ozzy Osbourne. It's a Raid. That's right. It's a Raid.
It's a Raid. That one's so good. I also like to take what you want from me. He did that one with Ozzy. Him and Ozzy are cool. Okay. But he played Guitar Hero, and that's what inspired him to buy a guitar.
Oh wow!
He started making music because of Guitar Hero. That's insane. And now he's like a multi-platinum artist.
I'm just trying to picture that too, because it's like there's only like 5 buttons on there to like choose from too. I know they kind of expanded it as it kept moving up, to be honest. But I mean, even still, you're thinking like that must have been some sort of self-teaching, or whether he taught himself, or whether he asked somebody else to like teach him.
He begged his dad for a guitar. His dad bought him a guitar, and he learned from YouTube tutorials how to play.
That's very cool.
It's wild.
I mean,
awesome.
Hey, we find
video games save people.
Yes.
Video games save people.
Actually, you know, the DDR actually got a bad rap too, because that's actually what people. Sorry. I think the funny thing was some people who had done like some of those bad violence, like mass shootings, for instance, they think like it's because they were playing like games like Call of Duty, and no, some people were just playing like DDR, and that's all that they were doing. So.
It's Revolution. That's the only game they own. It's like the Beavis and Butthead thing, where like this little kid burned down his parents' house, and they blamed it on Beavis and Butthead. And then the kid, when he grew up, said that he never even watched Beavis and Butthead, but his parents sued the MTV and got like a shit ton of money because they blamed on Beavis and Butthead. And then the kid grew up and was like, it was actually not Beavis and Butthead. I'm just a fucking arsonist.
You tend to wonder what happens too, especially when it's like normal parents. It's almost like, how does 1 + 1 equal that, to be honest? So I'm not too sure.
Insane.
But I guess
also, I just want to... Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say, we're both AT2020 Audio Technica gang.
Is that what your microphone is?
Audio Technica. Yeah, it's Audio Technica AT2020.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, you need these little things, otherwise they have to catch the spit coming off with all the P's and all those other consonants. So Explosives, yeah.
I have another pop filter for this thing, but too many pop filters get in the way, and it makes me feel really anxious because like I'm trying to sing into this. I don't want to have like things hitting my face and.
Like I said, what other gear do you have that kind of helps with your music? Because I know you talked about Cakewalk earlier.
I use Cakewalk for the instrumentals, and I use Audacity for the vocals. All free programs. I was gonna pirate FL Studio, but then I heard that like you can face like a lot of legal trouble if you like make money off of a pirated version of FL. So I was like, no, I ain't gonna pirate that. So I just use Cakewalk and Audacity and this microphone, and this is a Audio Technica AT2020 USB Plus. And
the only one you need. That's her thing.
Only one you need. It's the best microphone. It's the best microphone. I experimented a lot when I was a wedding photographer. I would buy a microphone. Like I bought a Blue Snowball, and then I sold that and saved up some money. And then I got a Blue Yeti, and then I sold that, got some money. Then I got an Audio Technica XLR, and I had a Scarlett 2i2 audio interface. And then I ended up selling that just to buy the USB Plus, which is the one I'm using now, because I was like, it's a lot easier. It's less convoluted, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it sounds the same. There's no... I can't tell the sound difference. And there's also, like, BandLab, which I use to mix the vocals, and they have this AI mastering, so you can master the vocals without even, like, needing to do anything. Of course, like, I had, like, the auto-tune, reverb, and whatever, but it just, like, puts the vocals with the music. And I think AI is so cool, but also very scary.
Oh, you should see, like, I would see, like, some of these... shows, or actually the sports games yesterday, I tend to watch college football from time to time. They're showing like these AI robots who look like actual people right now, but then they got like the little things along the side there. You see them like turn like that sort of thing.
It's insane.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on AI on music?
I actually do know a friend of mine who uses it for like making. I think he does like album artwork and stuff like that too, but I think he also uses some things with like his videos. So it helps like when you want to search for stuff like that. I mean, that's fine. But I think when you start saying like AI generated music, then that's a problem. Because it doesn't have that human element to it.
I feel like given probably like 10 years, the music is all gonna be fucked. I think because the music industry, because of TikTok and stuff, it's a good thing because there's more female musicians out there because people see them shaking their butt on TikTok to like Ice Spice is what I'm talking about. I'm calling it Ice Spice, and then they're like, oh, well, I like her because she's hot, so I'm gonna pre-save their song. So it's good because for a while you only had like Britney Spears and Taylor Swift as like female artists, but now it's getting to the point where there's no new male artists. The newest male big artist is Lil Nas X, and that's just because he was controversial. I feel like TikTok is ruining the music scene in a big way.
It feels like you have to be more controversial than just like being cool and everything too. So it's almost like that's what we need. That's unfortunately what we could call the Donald Trump sort of effect too, because it seemed like after that whole thing, everybody just wanted to be as controversial as possible. So it's that thing. Like you had a question about like what do you think about taking your YouTube channel? Yeah, that's sort of thing, yeah.
And then the way I see it was like a lot of people that are my age that are making music just want to be seen. And I feel like either it's going to be my falling point or my rising point where I just want people to listen to my shit. I have so many stories to tell. I have so many experiences that like looking through someone's eyes and it's just scaring the shit out of you. It may not relate to everybody, but it relates to some people. And I want those some people to be able to not feel as fucking crazy. Because like you were like, you're kind of crazy. That's weird. But if someone else experienced that, it makes them more comforting. I feel like I want to release as many songs as I can about as many small, inadequate things. That way people just feel normal. I feel like music now is just to make. I listen to music to feel normal. There's just like your songs, like Johnny Cash kind of originated that, where it's like. It's such things that people aren't singing about. Like wanting to murder your wife. I think Johnny Cash had a song about that, and a lot of people related to it. But who would have predicted that so many men wanted to kill their wives?
Well, I know he wanted to shoot him in Reno and just wanted to watch him die, so I wasn't sure if that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
So,
and you have just like it's wild, and a lot of people can relate to that. And if you would have asked me, hey, how many people do you think can relate to wanting to kill a man in Reno? I'd be like, nobody would relate to that. No, but a lot of people didn't. It resonated with a lot of fucking people, and I feel like that's where music is. It's about not feeling so fucking alone in this chaotic this chaotic rock that we are vibing on.
With a bunch of water in and around all over the place. So
yeah, just a floating rock with water, and just I don't know. I feel like, have you met like any big celebrities before?
Not really like face to face. I think actually I interviewed a couple of blues artists who were pretty well known in around the Pittsburgh area.
Shit.
I got a Billy Price. That was
damn.
I couldn't.
What am I doing here?
I mean, you volunteered. I mean, hey, we had an open slot. I mean, come on. Feel honored, man. Feel honored. So
I'm gonna make like I'm gonna chop this up to like a million sections, and I'm just gonna post it on YouTube Shorts. And I'm gonna just like, because you can have like a related video and have this video down there. I'm gonna see if my goal is to make this your most viewed video. that's gonna be as soon as this release, that's gonna be my goal. I fuck the music. I want to make this his most viewed video. I need my ego stroked a little more.
I mean, we just talked like 20 minutes right there. I mean, you can make that a short story. Just talk about how we all got to this point. So
how do we get here?
I don't know.
It's wild. It's fun.
I don't know, but. You talked about your lyrics a little bit not too long ago, I guess. Do you base all your music off of the life experiences you kind of gone through?
Yes, but also life experiences that my friends tell me, like, because I like to vent with my friends, and they tell me these stories that they have, and you listen to them, and it's like I can empathize with it, but I don't know exactly what they're going through. So let me think about the words that they're saying. And here's where AI kind of helps, where it's like, I feel this emotion, but I don't know what the word for it is. So you just like, you try to Google what is the word for feeling whatever, and it won't tell you what you're looking for. But if you ask like ChatGPT, It'll tell you like a long list of the words, and that way it's wild, and you can just kind of dive into like one specific story that happened to someone. Take like a part of it that's the most relatable and that people can emphasize with, and make it a very catchy tune, and yeah, that's how I do it. It's I never let AI write my songs, but I feel like it's a good tool. It's a good tool to have, and it's a free tool. And to say that's what I think AI is so cool because I have like AI mastering, as I mentioned, and you have like all these cool tools to like make good shit, and it's easier than ever. Like I have 2 EPs that one's not released yet, but I have one that I released. I have so many singles, and it's so easy. It makes it where like back probably like fucking 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to make the kind of music I make now because the technology has advanced so much to the point where like there's no distinguishing difference from like Cakewalk and FL Studio in my opinion. There's no like it's all the same. So you look back at like music from the 70s and stuff, and I also like not using expensive programs because like Nirvana is timeless. It's not overproduced. It's timeless music. A lot of the music from the 70s is timeless because it isn't overproduced. Where you have music now that is like Black Eyed Peas. Those are not timeless. No one's bumping Black Eyed Peas anymore. But people are still bumping Nirvana, and I feel like that's where you go.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Actually, I remember that commercial too. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was like a reference to Chili's, the restaurant chain, for instance, but no, Black Eyed Peas was like in it, and you just see the guy, he's like, pump it. And you just see him go, that sort of thing.
Hey, it's great though, because now you remember Chili's. It was a great marketing campaign.
I think it was, I really want to say it was Chili's, but it might have been like something else too. But I mean, we still got one up here, to be honest. So hopefully the chain sticks around, to be honest, because I've always thought it was okay, but I've heard some stories about Chili's. It's not been very good, to be honest, to them. It has been good to them, so I don't know why. So
I'm gonna say this. I just realized just now that Chili's and Applebee's are 2 different restaurants.
You just figured that
now? I about it. I just realized that now. I always thought they were the same thing, and then in my head, they're not the same thing. I always thought they were the same. I never been to like either. So I mean, you got one that's an apple, and the other one's a chili right there. I mean, could you tell the difference? They're both red fruits. I'm a very simple-minded person.
One's a vegetable. Come on, man. Did you watch VeggieTales when you were a kid? Jeez.
No. My mom didn't like it because she thought it was Satanistic.
Oh, boy, here we go. Oh, great. So she probably thought Black Sabbath was a Satanistic or satanic group. It was like preaching about Satan and all that
Black
stuff.
Black Sabbath is good. I was raised on like John Denver, Elvis Presley. But like John Denver is so underrated. Dobie Gray. Do you know who Dobie Gray is?
I want to say that name sounds familiar. My dad probably heard it, but I don't know if he ever told me about it. But go ahead.
He made the song, "Give me your beat, boys, and free my soul. I want to get
lost in rock and roll, then drift away." Oh, yeah. You know, I think Lost Lonely Boys didn't cover that, so that's why I would automatically think about them instead of John Denver. So
it was Dobie Gray who made that song.
Dobie Gray's, yeah. Sorry,
Dobie Gray.
Sorry.
He made so many good songs, and he's dead now, and it's so sad that he's just remembered for writing that one song when he had so many good songs.
Oh, he was
like John Denver. Yeah, and it's sad. Like John Denver hated the song Country Roads, and he hated performing it because he was so overplayed. He had so many other good songs, and I've listened to probably like every single John Denver song a million times. It's so good, such a vast talent, and it's sad. It's sad.
I guess would you say those were the guys who inspired you the most growing up?
I'd say so. I think I listened to them a lot, and I thought John Denver was the fucking coolest person ever. And then I had some friends who listened to like rap, and I was like, rap's pretty cool. I like Juice WRLD and Post Malone. I've mentioned Post Malone. Post Malone's a big inspiration. I have like all of his Funko Pops here. Love Post Malone. Juice WRLD, and I feel like no one is mixing the 70s with the 2010s. No one's doing it. Not that I hear, at least.
Was it? You struck me more as a guy who would love Beastie Boys, to be honest.
I've never heard of them.
No? Oh, wow. You're missing out, man.
Never heard of them. Now I'm shocked, because now I want to hear them. Is it like the Backstreet Boys or
Oh no
no?
no no
Completely
oh
different.
no, nothing like those. Not
Completely
like
different.
it's not like it's Sig or Backstreet Boys or anything like that. They were musicians, and I think they were out of California. They did more of like the song "Sabotage" and "What You Want." Those are like two. So, I strongly recommend you check them out. They kind of grew up during the times of the '70s and '80s too. And they were, I want to say, they were the Rage Against the Machine before Rage Against the Machine. So,
Rage Against the Machine is good though.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question now. Where are you taking this podcast? What is your vision for the future? Because no one asks you that question, and I'm curious.
Well, to be perfectly honest, and hold up a second. Sorry. When it first started out, it was really just meant to be like a hobby. So I reached out to just drummers originally. That's really what it was supposed to be. And then I ended up joining this Facebook group called Band Together, and strongly recommend you join it too. You'll find a lot of indie musicians on there as well, so you can like share your EPs and stuff on there too.
Shit, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, and then it started off there. Then I mean, it just kept expanding, man. I mean, we just started reaching out to everybody too, and it's all music matters and that too. So it's almost like we can't just do drummers. We got to also throw in these guys too. And
Yeah, you gotta throw in low lives like me. No, I think your podcast is so cool. I probably listen like I think so. I like listening to like podcasts like yours because it's so when you get up there to like Joe Rogan and stuff, all their podcasts sound so scripted and fake. And I like podcasts like yours because it's just like there's no script. I know a couple of the questions, but that's it. And the rest is just like we're gonna talk about video games and arson.
and schizophrenia apparently. So
It's schizophrenia, yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
I would
that's
say like the question I said to you, I would say that's kind of the script, but it's more like okay, this is where we're at right now. Let's just make sure to circle back to it at some point, so we don't get like awkward silences too. Then we get Jeopardy music playing in the background. So
no dead air. We gotta keep going.
yeah.
You got any other questions?
Oh yeah, but I guess. But it seems like you've really gone through a lot of challenges in your life too. I think more than a lot of people would say they've gone through, to be honest too. So. But I guess as an indie musician, just in particular, I guess what challenges are you facing right now from like the music you're releasing and then music you want to release at some point or probably working on at the moment?
I think for me it's the TikTok-ification of music where I have like a song Confide in You and it's this really bassy, thumpy, eerie song, but it's like right now, and I know the EP has just been released for a few bits, but it's probably one of my most proudest songs I ever made. But because it doesn't have a hook that you can promote, it's never gonna go anywhere. Other than like a song I made called Drinkin', which is a cheesy pop song that was formulaic as fuck. That one's blowing up right now. Well, blowing up. It's got like 10 more views than all the other songs on the EP. But it's like I feel like it's the music is there's nothing different. You have to do the same thing, and then the next generation is gonna do the same thing, and the next generation. And I feel like we're gonna run out of sounds. That's also scary because like Red Eyes. I released a song called Red Eyes and DeLorean, and I made all the chord progressions myself. It was all myself, and I wasn't allowed to monetize those songs because I use samples. I use a sample of what? I made that all myself. So you listen, it's like a slight that the label found that was a slight same chord progression here, and so they claimed it. Never heard the song a day in my life, but because music is getting too accessible in a way, where like I copyright all my songs, everybody else copyrights their songs, and it's probably gonna get to the point where someone's gonna make a song and be like, "Shit, this person already did this," and it gets scary because you never know. With my experience getting banned off TikTok, is like I don't know. What if I get like really big, and it's an anxiety I have. What if I get like really big and 3 people come out saying that I stole their songs and they end up getting me kicked out of my distributor, TuneCore, and because you're not allowed to like steal music or whatever. That's scary because it's like you can have it all at one moment and then it can just be gone the next day, and that's scary. I feel like that's my biggest challenge is that. Copyright systems.
You're not lying here because I've actually heard like people who've done like drum covers per se, and they were trying to like do like songs from like Prince, the Beatles, that sort of thing, and then for some reason one day it was working, and one day it wasn't afterwards, or they just put a copyright strike up afterwards too. Yeah, I can understand too. And copyright gets weird at times, especially on YouTube. Because I actually did one song. It was a death metal song from a group I had known for a good while, but they're not like the real big death metal sort of groups out of New York. This song was about 8 minutes long, and for some reason they blocked it, but it was because they only brought it from like the first second to like 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It would just do a copyright afterwards, but it would allow me to play it if I just did the other half. So copyrights are weird. In fact, I know friends of mine who've done Prince and Beatles covers, and they've got, as well as like AC/DC covers too, and they've got those ones blocked as well. So copyrights are weird, at least in those ones. I know yours are probably a little scarier too, since you don't know what people are going to say. So
yeah, exactly. You don't know who's going to come out of the woodwork and be like Juice WRLD made Lucid Dream his biggest song. It sounds nothing like one song, but they won a lawsuit because they got a judge, and they own like half of the royalties of his biggest song because the judge had no musical experience. How do we live in a time like that where you can just claim thousands of dollars off someone else's work just because you feel it infringes on something that you doesn't even infringe on?
I don't know. But, I mean, to each his own, too. So, best of luck going forward on your journey there, mate. So, let's see what happens. Louie, we're kind of reaching the end of my podcast right here, but we are down to some of the fun questions right now. Want to jump into some of the fun ones?
Hell yeah. Never been more ready in my life.
All right. So, let's start with the first one. What is currently your favorite food?
Chicken tendies and pizza.
Actually, do you like dipping those chicken tendies in? First off, are you a dipper, or do you like doing just plain?
You gotta dip them because they're too dry if you don't drip them, especially like if you get them at a fast food place. They're just dry. You can't have dry tendies.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I guess what would you do, like ranch or honey mustard? To be honest,
ranch all the way.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I put ranch on my pizza too. Ranch everywhere, and my mozzarella sticks. Fuck, I'm a ranch lover.
Well, because I almost say you're living on a ranch, to be honest. So you gotta those things.
Gotta love the ranch.
If I did have to pick a favorite food, I don't know. Mine kind of changes a little bit. I think they say your taste buds change like every 7 years, to be honest.
Do they?
I think so. I don't know if it's science or something or not, but I kind of believe it too. Because actually I wasn't big at like blue cheese, and now I'm kind of like digging it as like a dipping sauce. So
I can never get through the thought process that it's mold. That's what always kept me away from blue cheese.
Oh man. Well, I guess that would make sense why it was funky when I had on my burger the one time too. So.
It scares me too much.
But I would say most of the time I am a carnivore. Every now and again, I might delve into my omnivore sort of senses when I get a salad every now and again. So
salads are fucking good. Salads are baller.
Do you need meat on it, or are you okay to like just go with just plain with like?
I don't really eat meat besides like chicken. So normally when I get a salad, it's just like lettuce, cabbage, and I hate tomatoes, so I'll just throw ranch on it. Just lettuce and ranch, basically. Some maybe cabbage if I'm feeling frisky.
I would say I thought you would have hated the onion since it's the one that gives you the bad breath and everything too. So
onions are good though. I can eat a whole onion like an apple.
I would say maybe that's a good way to keep Dracula away. So actually that is garlic too. So maybe onions would be another sort of kryptonite for something, I guess. So
hey, garlic keeps the vampires away. You gotta have your garlic.
I take garlic parm every now and again, but I don't know about just straight garlic, to be honest. So
true.
All right. And for the next one, obviously you're a big smoker too, but I guess, so do you drink every now and again?
Oh, I indulge in the alcoholic beverages a little too much. I made a whole song about how I love drinking.
I guess do tell. I guess which one would you say is your favorite?
I like Bud Light, Bud Light Hard Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye, specifically the Retro Tie-Dye. Have you ever had that?
I've not. No, I just drink like the regular one, but I'm more of a Miller guy, to be honest. So sorry.
Miller Light's good. I like beer. I like IPAs. Space Dust IPA, Big Nose IPA. I love IPAs. IPAs are baller. Also, like if I'm gonna stick to like if I'm like at a classy event, I'm gonna go with the rum and coke, just because it's classy.
Oh, wait, is the rum a Captain?
Rum and Captain. Fuck yes, all the way. Yeah. Or like Black Label whiskey and root beer. Root beer and whiskey is underrated.
Actually, I've never been a fan of root beer, so sorry, but I would say I've always done the Captain Coke as my go-to drink.
Captain Coke is good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess non-alcoholic. I'm assuming you're drinking coffee right now.
Yeah, I love coffee. I love Monster Energy. I love soda. I don't think I drink water that often. My teeth are horrible from all the smoking and soda I drink, but I love soda, and it's my downfall. I don't partake in much bad activity, but when I do, if you ever see me like right here making music, I have a fucking glass of Coke and I'm chain smoking cigarettes. Sometimes I'll have a Bud Light hard seltzer while I'm making music, but on a normal day it's just a Coke.
I'm saying your teeth actually are pretty good. Are those your $1 million teeth the dentist gave you?
No, I've never been to the dentist a day in my life.
Oh, jeez.
I've never been to the dentist, and I've never had like a health checkup. Besides the time I went to the ER twice. I said before that I went to the ER because of breathing problems. I also one time. This is a funny story. Am I allowed to tell one more funny story?
Let's say yeah. Let's hope we don't break up. So let's see what happens.
Okay. Let's hope we don't break up on this. So I was a district closer at Dunkin' Donuts, and I was with this girl, and she was cute, and she was like, "You want to go to my car to smoke some weed?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, yeah." I don't know where the fuck I am. I'm in like some bumfuck ghetto place, and she takes me to her car, and her car is like all busted down, and she's like, "Take it to here's some weed," and she hands me like a pipe. And I take a hit, and I pass to her, and she takes a small hit. And weed culture, she takes a small hit. I got to take a bigger hit to show I'm not a pussy. So I take a bigger hit, and I pass it off to her, and she's like, "That's good." And at that point, I was like, something's fucking off if she's only taking that small of a hit if this is just weed. So I'm at the window. I'm counting cash, and I look over to her, and I'm like, "Oh, I definitely handed that guy the wrong change. I need to go sit in the office." So I sit down in the office, and I wake up, and it's like, I was playing GTA. I saw myself in third person, and I was spinning around myself in third person. Scary fucking shit. So I'm trying to calm down, and I see myself in third person. I kept feeling myself getting like thrown. Like I was not in control of my body. I was freaking the fuck out at that point because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I just smoked, and I smoked a good bit of weed back then. So I was freaking the fuck out, and I ended up calling 911. And the emergency people come in. They had to close the Dunkin' early, and I didn't get fired for that, surprisingly. But yeah, and it was laced with like LSD, acid. I did the same shit, but it was laced with a bunch of fucking drugs that was laced with, and it was horrible. And I never had panic attacks. After I smoked that weed, I had the worst fucking panic attacks of my life. I never felt the same since. I used to be a little anxious, but not like that anxious. After I smoked that, like I'm like shaking sometimes, just like fucking the world's gonna end and I'm gonna fucking die. Like it's scary. It feels like I'm about to have a heart attack. Like it gets in my head. Oh shit, I'm having a heart attack, and then I just kind of shut down, and I have to just lay down and be like, I'm not gonna have a heart attack. I ain't gonna fucking die. After that point, my brain and my body are not on the same team.
I guess that would kind of explain earlier with the whole thing with your sister. So maybe that.
Yeah, it's horrible. Don't smoke weed from someone you don't trust. Everybody watching at home. That's the moral of the story.
Fair enough. Yeah, even though they are legalizing it nowadays too, so that's like pretty good. Is it legalized in Florida, or is it just for like medical use only?
Florida, the laws are very laxed. Like if you get like caught driving and you have weed in the car, they won't ticket you or anything. They're supposed to, but all the cops kind of smoke now. I've never had any problems with it. I'd be out and like in front of bars and shit when I was with my sister, and I would smoke a joint outside of the bar, and no one ever gave a fuck.
I would say I've been walking around downtown Pittsburgh, you can catch those whiffs every now and again, but it's mostly from the black guys who are all just taking advantage of it now. So, yeah.
You smell weed everywhere. It's very like it's like having alcohol or cigarettes. Really, it's like they recommend you don't do it, but if they see you doing it, they don't care.
Just don't smoke and drive. It's
normalized now. It's more normalized. It's not as taboo, I guess.
Don't smoke and drive. How about that? It might affect your driving. So,
hey, I don't drive. I'm gonna get into another side tangent. I'm sorry. Driving is stupid to me because my mom never drove because when she got into a car accident and almost broke her back. Then she got into by a drunk driver. A drunk driver hit her. Then a drunk driver hit her again, and then her car got stolen. And after that, she was like, "Fuck this!" Like it was all in the span of like 3 years.
Oh,
She kept losing her fucking cars, and she was like, "Fuck that." So she stopped driving, and I've never had anyone in my life to teach me how to drive, so I just ended up never driving.
so you
I
walk
also
instead.
yeah, I just walk. I walk everywhere.
Okay.
I used to walk. I used to work in a neighboring town to where I lived, and I would bike 3 hours there and 3 hours back. That because I was an assistant manager, and that's what I had to do, and it was it was so much fucking biking, and I did that for like 3-4 months until I was like, fuck this.
He's gonna have the legs the size of Lance Armstrong before you know it.
Yeah,
So,
shit. It was a lot of fun though. I know. One time I seen 2 homeless people passing the COVID vaccine around under a bridge, and it was really like a sweet thing, you know. They're just passing a COVID vaccine around.
Turns out, I was gonna say I thought there was something else to it. I was like,
No,
it wasn't the COVID vaccine.
It was the COVID vaccine. The community's nice out here. We're just 2 bums giving each other the COVID vaccine.
Okay, apparently
They're giving each
that's
other
a thing
insulin.
nowadays. How about there's another more of the story sort of thing here? Don't trust the COVID vaccine from someone you don't trust. That sort of thing.
Yeah, don't take the COVID vaccine from a bum under a bridge. I didn't take the COVID vaccine with them, but I saw it.
Actually, it was almost a Chris Farley sort of moment right there. If you're living in a van down by the river, that sort of thing. So
Yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun.
that's good. Okay, for the next one, what is currently your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I think. Oh God, I don't know if you ever seen it. It's with John Denver, and it's like a cheesy '70s movie about this guy who has God visit him, and God is just like this decrepit old man, and it's so funny, and it's so. If you've never watched it, you need to watch it. It should be a classic. You need to watch it. Put that on your list of movies to watch. Oh God, with John Denver and George Burns. George Burns is a fucking phenomenal actor.
Yeah, some of them actually did take up sort of acting. I don't know if Johnny Cash took up acting, to be honest. Did he?
I don't know. I never looked into it. I need to
might have to
look
look
into
into it
that.
again. I thought he did something, but I know he stole Trent Reznor's song "Hurt," and I know that had to be a big hit of his. So that was pretty cool.
Johnny, I feel like Johnny Cash is a proof that you only die when you're ready to die, because he made that song right before he died. He was like, I'm gonna release one song and then I'm going out. His wife died. His kids were all grown up. He was just peacefully gonna go, and he made a nice hit before he left, just to prove everybody he could do it at like 90 years or 80 years old or however old he was. He was like, I can still make a hit. Bye. I'm dying now.
Okay, and fair enough too. So
Gotta
may he
have
rest in
respect for
peace.
the man. Gotta have respect for the man.
Absolutely, and may he rest in peace. So, all right.
May he rest in peace.
If there was a celebrity you could meet, whether living or deceased, who would it be? Would it be Johnny Cash or would it be somebody else?
If I could meet a celebrity, I think I would meet Post Malone, because he just seems like such a sweet dude, and I would love to have a cigarette with him. That's my goal in life. That's on my bucket list. I want to have a cigarette and a beer with Post Malone.
Someone tells me there's gonna be like a Make-A-Wish Foundation very soon here or something like that. So
Yeah, like that's all I want. That's on my bucket list. If I ever get like a clinical disease, and I don't think Make-A-Wish does adults, but I'll figure a way.
I think they might, but they won't show it on any of the channels. They won't put it live, to be honest. So
Hey, I'll have my privacy. I'll have my private conversation with Post Malone.
that would be cool. Yeah. All right.
What about you? Who would you meet?
I don't know. I've always been a fan of like Lord of the Rings sort of thing too.
Really? Shit.
So I don't know. So I don't know which one of the cast. Actually, I would like to also meet some of the guys at the Harry Potter ones, because those guys are unfortunately passing away. So it would be nice maybe to meet some of the cast. If either Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. So
That's cool. I gotta respect that.
I would say have a beer with Samwise Gamgee, that sort of thing too.
That's a good idea. I want to do that too.
That would be cool. All right. And so for the last of the fun questions right here, I guess what's currently your favorite song, or a song you've been listening to a good bit recently?
I think that's such a good question. Shit.
You gotta check
I'd
the
have to say-
Spotify list afterwards.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I think "Laugh It Off" by Post Malone, off of his new album. I'm a big fan of Post Malone, if you can't tell. But "Laugh It Off" because
do tell.
the song is about like life being shit, people treating you like shit, but you just laugh it off. And it's sweet. It's a sweet song. I like it.
It sounds like more like that kind of thing when you go through like depression or something like that too. When you think about it, like
It
a
can be
fake
taken
laugh.
many ways. I think that's what's so cool about music. It's because, like, the song Lemon Tree by Post Malone can be taken. Like, I listen to the song. Have you ever heard the song Lemon Tree?
I've not know. So
It's a song about, like, making life into lemons. Like, everybody else got apples and tangerines, but I was given a lemon. I was given a lemon tree, and how life is unfair. And I like this song, and I showed it to my sister back when we were, like, friends and shit. We were drinking, and we were showing each other songs. And I showed her the song, and she had a whole different perspective of what the song meant than what I thought it meant. And we're both right, because the song is so well written that you can take it in so many different ways, and there's no wrong way to take it. And a lot of good songs are like that. A lot of good songs are like that. That's how I know if you hear a good song, is if you can take it in a million different ways. If it's a double or triple entendre, it's a great fucking song.
You know, I don't know if I asked this, but did you actually say what you love most about music?
I think that would be it, though. That'd be it. It would be the fact that you could take one song and it can mean a million different things. I try to strive with that with my music. And try to, so no matter what you're going through, the song can mean something to you. And I feel like that's just a glorious thing. I think music helped me through a lot of tough times, writing music and listening to music. I think without music, life would be a lot more depressing.
Do tell, I'll be honest. So, but I do wish you all the best going forward there, mates. So hopefully the dark days are behind you. So best of luck on your trip there, Louie.
I hope so too. I hope it's just straight up. I hope I don't go up and then go down again. I hope it's just straight up.
We stay away from hell, that sort of thing too. We'll stay away from hell.
Yeah,
which is your sister's house at this point. So
yeah, it's bad, but hey, I feel like I've always been a person who hated change. I can't. Ever since I was young, every time it would be my birthday when I was like young, I would cry. Every time it was my brother's birthday, I would cry. Every time it was my mom's birthday, because I don't like change. I want everyone's numbers to stay the same. I like the same thing. And I feel like going through all I've been through, it's like now I'm not scared of it. I still don't like change, but I was forced to have to embrace it. So I feel like it taught me a lot. And that's it, really.
Well, I guess I had to look for a fountain of youth in that case, so you could just jump right in and just start over at 5 years old. So,
hey, I would. If I had the opportunity, I would.
Absolutely. All right. So, Louie, we're reaching the end of my podcast right here. We are down to one more question. But before we jump into that, did you have any other questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
Not that I can think of right now. I do want to say sorry about my internet connection. If I could help it, I would. It's the only service we got down here in bumfucked Egypt.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully it holds up for this last one here, because this one I always like to say is the important one too. But I would say, given all your struggles you have gone through, and I guess first off, what was it that really was keeping you going?
I think there's been points in my life, and like a lot of other people's lives, where life kind of has no meaning. Especially when I got banned off TikTok and I experienced the high and I went down low, where I just, since I've been through a lot of things that I don't want other people to go through, I want to get to a point financially where I can go down to like places I live, like Bellevue and Ocala, and find people who aren't drug users, but people who like me who fell under hard times, and help them out, really. And I feel like that's been kind of my big motivator, was like, I could just end it all, like, fuck it, like, who would care? But what with that, if either I can not try at all and just give up, or I can try to improve my life and other people's lives. And that's what keeps me going, is that knowing that I have the potential. I've proven to myself I can be famous. I proved that to myself. Now I gotta
don't play with the big dogs and then try to get kicked off afterwards too. That would be more of that story, to be honest. So
that's the moral story, is don't fuck with people bigger than you.
Yeah. If you want to like just maybe poke fun at them, just try to be the friend of that stuff, that'd be okay. But let's not go too hardball right here, to be honest. But that one was at least part A too, because I know about those struggles you discussed during this whole interview here. But the last question does go like this: what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in a post-COVID world?
What I can say is a lot of people, more people than not, are financially weller off than I have ever been. And if I can make But song One Door got like 10,000 streams across all platforms, which blows my mind. That's a lot of streams for me. And if I can do that off of not even a shoestring budget, off of $100 microphone and like a fucking $80 laptop, and you have the resources to go into a studio or whatever, you can also make it. Anybody can make it. Just make it. And one thing with music too is I struggled with a lot was getting my foot in the door. Like, it's scary. Like, people are gonna hate my shit, and all my friends say your music's shit. And a lot of people hate my music, and I like to surround myself with people who critique it. And in a way, hate doesn't mean shit, because if someone says I don't like your song because the chorus is slightly offbeat from the tempo, okay, that is constructive criticism. I'm not offended that he said that. I'm thankful so I can improve that on my next song. Now, if someone says, this sounds better on mute, that's just, what the fuck? Everybody says that on TikTok. Everybody says that on TikTok. Every single TikTok musician on their like music video or whatever they post is, this sounds better on mute, or my paraplegic grandma stood up for the first time to turn this shit off. And it's like, it's so unoriginal. And don't get discouraged by that, because everyone's going to have that. And I feel like the main thing is just put out shit. It doesn't matter if it sounds good or bad, because if you make really shitty shit that's just like beep, 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 bop, 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 whatever, and you improve on it, then you'll have a discography that shows your improvement as a person, as a songwriter, as a musician, as a beat maker, as a producer, and that will build you more notoriety that you had no fucking talent, or not no talent, but you had no knowledge of the industry, and you came up. So don't ever get discouraged. I think you should just put out shit. That's all I say. Just put out shit. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Just put it out and have fun. And I think having fun is the number one thing. If you are enjoying making music, or of course there's some parts, like sometimes producing can be overwhelming for me because it's like a lot of fucking shit to do. But I feel like so I may not particularly like that specific part of the job, but I love everything else so much that the pros outweigh the cons for me. So that's it. If you don't like doing something, as long as you have fun, when you finish the project, it'll be worth it, is what I'm trying to say. Because it's frustrating while you're making it, but it's a good ending point. And a good ending point to leave this podcast on, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Full circle. So what did we learn today?
Spoken like a true prodigy, that sort of thing. So yeah. So yeah,
thank
we
you so much
tell
for having
people
me
leave
on.
down in the comments. What did you learn today? That sort of thing too.
What did you learn today? Take notes. You got your homework. For everybody listening, stream my EP that should be out by now. It's called Delusional Depression. I made the whole thing right here in this exact spot with this exact microphone and this exact laptop. And you see right where it's been recorded, and you can listen to it now.
We sell all the studio, that sort of thing too. Yeah. So
you don't need a studio. You don't need a high budget. Just fucking have fun.
That's good. All right. So everyone, my guest today was QT Louie, hailed from Florida right here. This guy has been through a lot, but it looks like he's starting to climb out of the hellhole he actually found himself in to begin with too. But it looks like he's getting back up to the top right there. So make sure you go check out his music. Go check out the EP that just came out right here too. Louie, I wish you all the best going forward, mate. So just go straight from here.
Thank you so much.
All right. So Louie, stay safe.
You too.
Stay tuned, y'all.
Stay true. Sorry about my internet connection.